What? Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome.
Don't adjust your TVs, computers, cameras, wherever you're watching, your phones. It's okay. It's an hour earlier. We made some things happen because we have a special guest today, one of our favorite guests. It's been a couple of years.
You mean because you don't know how time zones work and you couldn't count to 8 and 9?
Look, I wasn't going to say that, but I'm glad that you brought that up. I actually did make a mistake, but it's okay. We made it work. We all know Pat, they let me count and they let me deal with numbers, and that's on them. There's a reason I have a lawyer and a scientist and a stats genius here with me to help me through this, but they left me hanging this week. But we made it happen. Pat Daugherty, NBC Sports Ed, you were one of our first guests on the program years ago. You're coming back. Things are a little bit different here, but we are very happy you are able to join us once again.
My pleasure to be here. Yeah, I'm glad someone could translate prairie time because I don't even know the prairie time zone. And by the way, I'm in the glam box. I'm in the big glam box here. I'm not used to being in the glam box.
Yeah,
I appreciate it as the guest of honor.
Right, not so center stage, if you would, but we do our best for the people that make the time for us. If you are watching, listening, obviously every like and subscribe obviously helps, goes a long way. There's all that. You can leave comments, etc. Why leaving the comments is so important for us, Pat, is because we like
comments will be coming in 58 minutes.
Well, I've got a comment already
when they expect the show to start.
I've got a comment that I love the show, except for I hate that 50% of them don't like Elijah Drinkwitz. I'm very upset about that part, but yes.
That's right. Well, one of the things we like to do is poke fun of ourselves via our viewers and our listeners every single week because some of the comments they've left have been utterly hilarious. We like to point out some of our favorites. I'll admit, so they've let me down a little bit this week, but with that said, we're going to kick things off as usual with the comment review, which I am always excited for every single week. The first one comes from JPIN4ZQ. Insane user handle.
Rolls right off the tongue. Yeah.
Exactly. Just natural. They said, just call him Tet G's. His mama named him Tetora. So now what? You can't call him Tet. Give me a break, man. The people-pleasing gymnastics are not virtues. This guy sounds super fun at parties. You should.
I just want to point out that was the exact conclusion I came to last week. It's exactly what I said. I'm just going to call him Tet. These guys change their names all the damn time. Why do we care? But this guy was still angry enough to comment this, I assume, at me. So
absolutely,
good for you, man. You're in good company here.
Definitely needs to have more fun at parties. This guy broke his own rule. At never post Nick posted. They need to know, Jacob, how much do we have to pay for Jacob's highlight show? They want the tapes released from your old days of recording Madden stats.
The number does not exist. Mostly because the tape does not exist. The Sanderson Sports Network, we lost all of the reels in a fire. So nothing we can do about that. It is a damn shame. I don't think the tapes are ever going to be released, but I don't know. Maybe we raise enough money for some sort of charitable cause, and I can reenact the highlights, just throwing the ball to myself.
I'd say you're pretty selfish that you haven't already raised money for charity to release the tapes.
That's right.
Very self-centered.
Hashtag SFB15.
That's right. And then finally, of course,
these files, like other files, may never be released.
Okay. From at MKDHGN, another one that just sounds supernatural. I know you guys talk about MLB The Show and Madden. Do you guys play NHL too? I will say not anymore. They removed Online Dynasty. Means it's not for me. Can't play the NHL games. I don't know. I'm not Canadian enough for that. Give me that college baseball.
Games. I used to play Chell in 03 to 07. I have not played since 07. I also had my dad's Sega 95, and we played NHL 95 on that, and that rules really hard. But no other hockey games currently.
I got boomered on NHL real hard, by the way, where once they made shooting with the joystick, even at like age 24, I could no longer do that. I'm like, I can't do it.
You're more of a press B shooter.
Yeah, I want to just press the button, and I want to power it up. I mean, I want to aim my shot. I don't care. I just want to slap it.
Yeah.
This isn't real life.
Yeah. That's the right way to go. That is the right way to go. That being said, post your comments. You never know which ones are going to get picked. That's either on the Spotify podcast feed. That's on the YouTube feed. Remember, I see them all. So don't worry. You don't need to send in customer support tickets asking when I'm going to get fired. I see all the comments as they get laid in, and you never know which ones are going to be picked for the Dynasty Points comment review. That being said, Pat, let's dive right in. To us, you are Mr. Media. So, of course, today we have training camp situations. We're going to break.
You are the mainstream media.
That's very unfortunate. Yeah.
We have training camp media literacy. I can't wait for that one. We are bringing back beat or no beat. Phenomenal game that Jacob came up with, especially for you. And, of course, the chat once again tries to go toe-to-toe with me as I continue to absolutely whoop ass at 5 for 5 after hosting last week. So let's dive in. Training camp situations. Ryan, you obviously set this up. Let's dive into the first thing you had on the board here for Pat.
Yeah, so probably in my mind, at least, kind of the biggest overall story just entering this training camp is that currently every single round 2 pick is holding out for more guaranteed money on their contracts. Only Jaden Higgins and Carson Swessinger have signed. Chargers receiver Trey Harris officially holding out. Every other rookie yet to sign, with camp starting up this week and next week. So Pat, I guess really my biggest question for you is, how do you see this resolving? Do you think it's going to be a wave just of guys signing? Are a lot of these players going to continue holding the picket line? And then just for fantasy, are you concerned about an RJ Harvey, a Travion Henderson, or anyone else for this reason, if they do end up missing the first week or however long you think they'll miss camp?
I will say,
my biggest question is, who will speak for the owners?
I know, someone please speak for the NFL owners, please. Just one person ever. And yeah, I was going to say, sadly, the way this will end is basically all, not to go full political or labor lawyer or whatever, but basically every NFL labor action just ends with the players caving immediately. So I'd be very surprised if they took this, into the month of August. It'd be an accomplishment if they took it into late July. But I do think those be a wave of signings. And you don't sweat losing a week or two of training camp. For most players, I will say for rookies, especially not day one rookies, any lost rep is kind of a big deal because it seems like the first impressions just overweight in coaches' minds, and because the coaches think it's such a big deal, even if it's not a big deal. I feel like that's what happens a lot of times. Well, he missed 2 weeks of camp, J.K. Dobbins was here, so I can't possibly let RJ Harvey do that, even though he's clearly better at it. And because I don't even think it actually really does matter, but the coaches, I think a lot of times decide that it matters. So I'm a little worried from that perspective, but I don't think you really need to worry until the calendar flips to August. And that would be a very notable storyline if they held the line until August, and that would really send a message. I do not see that happening though. And yeah, I think it's the kind of thing, notable, interesting storyline, but that we probably won't even really remember by August 15th. But famous last words, because even this has never happened before, taking it to mid-July without this many players signing. So it's already a little unprecedented. But yeah, I'm expecting by August 1st, most of these guys will be in camp.
Yeah. If it does carry in, sorry, go ahead, Jacob.
No, go for it.
I was just gonna say, if it does carry in, do we need to only fade guys based on how boomer their coaches are? So
that's RJ
Harvey,
you're screwed. To start making the political alignment chart based on where we think the voter.
You start going through FEC report, who did Sean Payton donate to? All right, let's.
I think we all know. Who Sean Payton donated to.
Luther Burden, Ben Johnson might be okay.
Well, that's the thing, right? But that's the thing. Like that's exactly what I was going to say with Luther Burden. Like you'll get these coaches and Ben Johnson, who I used to think was kind of like a progressive coach, but like he's out there acting like Luther Burden committed high crimes and misdemeanors for the act of like having a soft tissue injury and missing time. Right. So you get these coaches like, can't be on the field. I don't know what to do with them, you know? And it's like, if they're mad at these players for getting hurt, you know, which they have no control over. You think of Dennis Allen with Kendre Miller, you know, just constantly angry at him for
boy, was he upset about that.
Imagine how angry these coaches will be, you know, for players trying to assert their rights. I mean, there could be no greater stain upon the reputation of a player in the eyes of a coaches than a player, you know, having opinions. So, and certainly thinking that they have rights, I can't imagine that goes well. So I am a little bit legitimately concerned.
I'll say this real quick. To pick up a thread that you had, I'll defend Ben Johnson a little bit because as we were talking about before we came on air, I'm a Mizzou guy. Boy, does Luther Burden love to limp off the field. And you would think that maybe he could have just not done it in mini camp and could have just stayed on the field. So I could see from Ben Johnson's perspective. Moore.
You think he's having a seat?
That's true. Yeah, I could see from Ben Johnson's perspective, like, can he pass the easiest test in the world of staying healthy? And he can't.
Right.
And now I'm upset.
Well, and
this is the DeAndre Swift issue too. This was exactly what Ben Johnson needed DeAndre Swift out of Detroit.
And the good news is he now has an offense full of players. Oh, darn.
So my thing too is you got to watch the first time coaches, right? The first time head coaches are going to want to establish their culture. He's coming from an insane venti iced coffee, bite your kneecaps, you know, snarling, emotional, crying coach after wins environment. He does not going to want to establish some, you know, patty cake environment too. So it's not just the rookie coaches needing to establish it in their own building before establishing it unnecessarily on the field, but it's the ones that are coming from, I guess, high intense culture scenarios to me that I might be watching the most personally.
A lot of interesting potential threads here. At the end of the day, if you're trying to decide, should I worry more or less about a mid-July storyline, the answer is almost always less. But the problem is sometimes it is more. It's just very difficult to know when it's more.
So what's the over-under?
More. Oh, go, Lucas.
I was going to say, what's the over-under on when this actually becomes something that's going to start impacting players' fantasy performances?
I do think it's August 1st, just for like weird, like mental reasons, like it changing to a new month. I feel like makes it more real for everybody, especially the media too. I feel like the media drumbeat. Well, like it's August 1st, and you know Luther Burden's still not in camp. Like, what does this mean and all that? I do set it at like that kind of like arbitrary yet very real barrier of August 1st. The tenor might change for all involved if it's stretched into August. It won't either. It will not, though. They'll
all right. You talked about some things are less, some things are more. Najee Harris might have one less eye, or one fewer if you're Spanish Baratheon.
Come on.
What are your thoughts? Speaking of missing training camp, Najee Harris is now expected to miss the start of training camp, but to come back at some point during training camp to not miss any regular season games. What do you think of Najee Harris and the Red Ryder BB gun?
I will say this one isn't noteworthy for a number of reasons, and not that I take them at their word that he'll be out there for week one. And even if he has like blurred vision in an eye week one, I don't think that will make like a huge difference for Najee Harris. But Amari and Hampton too, you know, you'd have to assume someone like Jim Harbaugh, who has like done everything there is to do in coaching, isn't going to really change these guys' projected roles all that much based on Najee Harris maybe missing a week or two of campus. I have no idea where it's going. Training camp. But Amari and Hampton, it could be a situation where you just didn't need, if you're the veteran, Najee Harris, you didn't need to prop the door open like at all to like lose more of your potential role. Because I do think Amari and Hampton, even without the fireworks snafu, would still clearly be the 1A back. And then Najee Harris is probably already kind of penciled in to like a deluxe Gus Edwards role of like 10 to 12 weekly carries. But he's impressive enough to be the rare first-round running back these days. If I were the veteran, I would have just wanted to keep the door shut, very tightly. And even if it's like a week or two, just allowing the guy that we assume is going to pop in like the early camp practices too, or they're not in pads as much. Like I'm not feeling great about propping the door open for the rookie to like take even more of the work, make even more of a good first impression. Right. I do think it could be meaningful. Not that I was drafting Najee Harris before, but before I thought Omarion Hampton's ADP was maybe slightly aspirational. I think this honestly makes his ADP more palatable. And I would not have opened the door for the impressive young running back if I were Najee Harris.
Yeah,
I was getting into this with Ryan when we knew even fewer details. I'm curious what your thoughts are now, Ryan, if they've changed. My view is just, and I've been drafting Omarion Hampton at ADP, but my view is just Najee was entirely dependent on inertia. Like he needed nothing to change in order to continue in what we sort of expected to be his opening role of about a 50-50 timeshare. And basically any externality would work in favor of the younger and in our opinion, clearly better talent. And so this is just, to me, it matters disproportionately compared to what normally missing 2 weeks in camp would matter. Ryan, now that we know that he will indeed be back, or at least most likely will be back for the regular season, but will also be missing some camp. Your thoughts? You were moving him a lot less than I initially did on the first breaking news. Does the more recent part of news change your view?
It does actually, and for pretty much the exact reason you said. I was initially reading the news as well. There was no indication that he wouldn't be out there for training camp, and I view it similarly to you, where if the veteran is there and doing the things the coach wants the veteran to do, the deference goes to the veteran. If he's not, things can suddenly change. We never know what Harbaugh is going to be feeling after 2 weeks of only seeing Omarion Hampton. So, I am with you now where you were 48 hours ago, basically, before we kind of had it confirmed that he was missing camp. I think this is very, very good for Hampton. I haven't seen the ADP really bounce that much, as much as I kind of would have expected, at least on Underdog right now. So, I'm going to be getting a lot of Omarion Hampton over the next couple weeks is what I've taken away from this.
Pretty rude of you to just write off Twitter's favorite Kamani Vidal with this just Omarion Hampton. The year 2 break.
Never forget. Never forget.
Have you not been seeing the Rocket Sanders hype? Like Kamani Vidal is not making this team, dude. Rocket Sanders. There was a report that said that it got like, it was one of those reports I had to check and make sure it wasn't AI, which will be a game we play pretty soon. But it was like, not only will Rocket Sanders make the team, he will usurp Najee Harris for the number 2 role. And just when I thought that was like insane, they were like, actually, he's also going to take the number 1 role. And it will be Sanders is the 1A, Hampton is the 1B, and Najee will be traded. And I was that doesn't seem likely, but that is a fascinating report.
Man, y'all remember 2 years ago whenever Raheem Rocket Sanders was supposed to be 101 in the 2024 Superflex drafts?
Debbie isn't real? Debbie's
not real football.
Hey, you guys are so ridiculous.
After he put up an amazing sophomore season and then got hurt and then was actually effective at South Carolina.
He drafted ahead of Omarion Hampton at that time. So that is,
all I'm saying is I would be putting so many stamps of approval on Rocket Sanders if he were on any other team but the Chargers. But I don't know. I'm adding a lot of Rocket Sanders where I can find him.
Yeah.
By the way, quick Dynasty note. That conversation tells you should go trade for 2026 firsts that people think are worse than 2027s. Because we're real confident about that every year that we know what's happening in every class.
There's a certain section of fantasy Twitter that I will not start fights with again tonight that is really confident in their prospecting. You can go and get those picks now, as you should. Anything else we want to hit on this section before we move on?
We got 2 more.
Okay.
Before we get serious, let's like Jauan Jennings. This is another one that I think I expect to like dissolve very quickly. He has demanded a trade and or a raise. I guess just or. He doesn't need a trade and a raise. So I expect him to pout for a few weeks and then either to return as is, or maybe the 49ers give him like, an extra little help around the edges. I would be very surprised if Jennings gets like $80 million. I'd be even more surprised if he gets traded. Do you feel any differently about this one?
This one, it's Denny made this point to me on our own show. Feels a little bit like an Austin Eckler type situation from a year or two ago where they kind of let him twist in the wind for a week or two. They let him pout. They don't really do anything, but they give him like $1 million and like somewhat easily achievable incentives, not like automatic incentives, but it seems like basically some sort of face-saving bone being thrown to him is the best case outcome. I will say I could see them just playing hardball, like dude, like we just gave you a new
Jauan
deal
Jennings
last year, and you're Jauan Jennings. Like just relax a little bit, man. Just like chill out. And I'm a little worried about this one because I mean it's a narrative that I have created. I don't actually know if it's true, but Shanny like gets like really interpersonal and like weird with his receivers, and like I could see him like, all right, Jauan's dead to me. Like that's fine, yeah.
I kind of agree. Like I also think Jauan Jennings ran like a 4.7 and is like a guy who is good in this specific context of this offense. I feel like if he got traded, I would not have any interest in drafting Jauan Jennings. And it's not that I think he will get traded. I just see Kyle Shanahan as being like, you want a raise? I fucking made you. He
already gave him the raise in anticipation of like, dude, listen, I'm going to make you.
Right. So to me, it's like, to me, Jennings last year was like the favored son, right? It was like Kyle's looking at it and it's like Ayuk is whining about his contract. He's getting hurt. Debo's fat. Ricky Pearsall's going around getting shot. What am I supposed to do with these people? At least I can count on third and Jauan. And now third and Jauan is getting uppity. And Kyle Shanahan, I don't know if he'll take kindly to that. I've moved Pearsall ahead of Jennings in my seasonal rankings. Not because I think Jennings is going to miss any time, just because I think Shanahan has a lot of personal stake in who gets the first 3 targets, even more than most people.
I totally agree.
If Pearsall's now the favorite son, I like buy into that stuff a little bit more than maybe some people do.
I wonder if part of the conversation is like, well, man, last year was your first 1,000 yards. You got thrown out of the last game. You didn't hit it. No can do about that raise, boy. You should have not thrown hands in the last game of the year when you could have shown off. I don't know what to tell you. Sorry. Nothing we can do. Yeah. Cost of living going up in San Fran. Nothing we can do about it, buddy. You better downgrade that apartment. Sorry about that. Terrible.
Jauan Jennings will be spotted at local YIMBY protests in San Francisco. The last thing we got to get your take on, put on your legal expert hat. Probably the most significant dynasty mover in all of this is the Browns backfield. It's especially interesting in that we have 2 rookie running backs to deal with. So a lot of variance on both in dynasty. Your thoughts on Quinshon Judkins from a fantasy perspective? I will assume that you think domestic violence is bad.
Yes. What an awful, like, I don't know. The NFL is so all over the map on this stuff that, like, sometimes I think, like, oh, they've truly moved to a 0 tolerance policy now, and they, like, never quite have. But this does feel like an eventual commissioner's exempt list to me. One, like, I mean, I guess it could get settled and go away in August. That happens, like, shockingly frequently in these cases. And then the NFL, I feel like in recent years, as the Ray Rice situation like recedes further into the past, they've been kind of like quietly like happy to like let these things die and just move on and like not make a big public show of like suspending people and stuff. But this kind of does feel like a commissioner's exempt list situation to me. And if I were guessing today on July 15th, I'm guessing that Judkins is not playing in week 1. But I am just guessing, and I feel like it's what the NFL does in these situations at this point where, it's at some point I thought they had like come up with like a process that would not be deviated from, and that's just not the case. And so we're all just guessing, but my guess is that he is not in uniform for week 1.
I think that's totally possible. It's just so difficult to know. Like, I felt the Kamara, especially because there was a video, I thought he was going to be an exempt list situation initially, but then he wasn't. He gets suspended eventually.
Well, Kamara, they don't even care about that one because it was just a normal fight. Like right. Yeah, it was just a normal fight. Yeah, like he hurt someone very badly. but it was not a domestic situation. That's like, all right, whatever. You just want to get in a normal fight and severely injure someone. That's totally fine.
Yeah, Justin Ross went straight to the exempt list. We saw, then there was like there was a Mixon complaint, there was a Cook complaint, but they wound up getting dropped, I believe. It's all over the place. It's my guess is, what we can say is he's not going to get suspended until the criminal matter is concluded.
For sure.
That is pretty much now confirmed. But again, it could be an exempt list in the interim. And for domestic violence cases, that is quite possible. And similar sort of to the Najee Hampton one, Judkins obviously has a lot more juice than Najee Harris. But that inertia element, the draft capital element, really important when we're looking at 2 rookie running backs on the same team. If he does wind up on the exempt list and Samson starts playing really well, it starts to not really matter that he was, the 36th overall pick. You're the asshole who got yourself put on the exempt list by doing something horrible. And, now this current guy is the starter who's been playing great, and we're not going to immediately install you to 80% of the touches. So I'm trying to react to this a lot, frankly. Like I'll run it by each of you guys. I saw a poll today that was basically 50-50. Would you rather have Caleb Johnson or Quinshon Judkins in Dynasty? To me, this is an easy Caleb Johnson.
Yeah, I'm going Caleb here as well. It is. I think we really underrate how, to what extent that the specter of draft capital and why it matters is literally just teams trying to prove themselves right as soon as they hit the practice field. And that obviously, as you're saying, will carry immediately into the season. If he's not out there, then suddenly the way they prove themselves right is, wow, we drafted this guy in the 4th round that's doing really well and that's playing awesome. And we don't have to worry about this at all. So I am with you. I would lean Caleb Johnson here too.
So my question is, I got some really kind of insane trade offers. Everything news breaks, whatever somebody wants. So I got some pretty insane ones. I got a DeAndre Swift straight up that
that'll take Judkins over.
I was honestly looking at it I was like, they're probably both there's a potential they're both zeros, but man, that how low do you have to go? And then I did get a Caleb Johnson pretty much straight up and I smashed that one. And then I got some Dontavian Wicks and a third low ballers that I wanted to, but
I would say it's he's behind now Johnson and Harvey to me in Dynasty. I would still put him ahead of Tootin and Scadbo, personally.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone else disagrees, but I'm seeing nods.
Yeah, no, I think that's about right. Yeah. Because there's also
Judkins will play NFL football at some point. We
for sure
don't know when, and we do know he'll be on the exempt list. If the charges do not go away before September 1st, whatever, he will be on the exempt list. That people feel like there's no way of knowing, and there's no way of knowing when the decision will come. But the longer the charges stick, the far more likely the exempt list becomes. Because if the charges are still hanging out there, he will be on the exempt list week 1. Is my very strong guess.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
That's legal correspondent Pat Daugherty.
By the way, your audience, listen, they're upset that I didn't change shirts after doing my own show today. What do you think? I'm just made of shirts? Can't change a shirt for every podcast.
He's so busy grinding all the time.
It's a very memorable color that I'm wearing, so I could see why.
It's a nice shirt.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Speaking of shirts, I saw your tweet earlier today, and I had planned to wear my car seat headrest T-shirt.
Oh hell yeah!
But then Tom didn't know how to tell time, so I had to wear the shirt that I was wearing at the office, and didn't have time to change.
Check out the Scholars if you've not already. Amazing.
I haven't already, but I definitely will.
It's amazing.
I'm never living the time thing down ever,
right.
and that's fair. All right, that's gonna do it for segment 1. When we come back, we're doing a little bit of training camp media literacy. What to watch for. Can't wait. Sit tight. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Shocking. If you survived that break and managed to stick with us, we love and appreciate you. Thank you for sticking around. We're on Media Watch this time of year. Training camp is all over the place. and it is hard to continuously pay attention with around the clock news. So I will send this off to Jacob. Why don't you kick us off here?
All right. So when you're looking at training camp, and I know no one, in the entire industry that knows more about training camp blurbs than RotoPat. It's literally in your name. You are RotoPat. How do you try to sort in training camp headlines that matter, training camp headlines that do not?
Well, there's two things to this that I always say, two spiels I give, where one thing is pay attention to the drum beat. Obviously, it's common sense, but and especially if the drum beat is coming from more than one location. So like sometimes there'll be a coaching staff drum beat where they can't stop talking about a player. Or sometimes there'll be a media drum beat where they can't stop talking about a player. But if it's only the media, like people who aren't paid, to coach football players, or might, even though they're experts, they might not really know what they're looking for. Like take it with a slight grain of salt, if the coaching staff is not backing that up. So I would overweight a coaching staff drumbeat versus a media drumbeat, but you don't entirely write off a media drumbeat because sometimes, the coaches, they're just overly paranoid. Like for all we know, they're like, oh man, this guy is the greatest player I've ever seen, but they don't want to talk about it publicly. They don't want to tip their hand or whatever. So I do pay attention to the drumbeat. Like sometimes it amounts to nothing, of course, but that's going to happen. So I don't just treat everything as like a puff piece or whatever. And then some people are like, why even pay attention to the puff pieces at all? Like who cares? If he's looking good in practice, it's literally practice. They don't even play in the preseason anymore. So even if you're looking good in practice, you look good in the preseason. A lot of times you're playing at second or third team defense or whatever. People are like, why do I even care about the puff pieces? Especially since so many of them don't amount to anything. My counterpoint to that is always, well, isn't that better than the alternative of there being no pieces or, or God forbid, negative pieces? It's telling us something, even if it ultimately amounts to nothing. There is a reason someone is getting praise. And that's how I would encourage people to look at that. Yes, it's very difficult to know which ones are real, which ones will actually pan out. But in no world is it a bad thing if someone's getting a lot of puff pieces. And it's far better than the alternative of them not getting talked about at all. Blah, blah, blah. So it's very frustrating because we never know which ones are real, but more of them are real than I think people give credit for, because the busts, really stick with us. Who was the tight end on the Patriots? This might be before a lot of your guys' times, 12 or 13 years ago. It was Zach Sudfeld. Absolutely blew up Patriots training camp. And then, barely basically ever played in the regular season ever. Those ones very vividly stick with us. And then you just totally forget about all the Victor Cruzes say yeah, they said every day Victor Cruz was amazing and I didn't pay attention. Right. I just thought it was training camp. So it's very hard, but I do not as a rule just ignore. I mean, not that anyone's ignoring training camp. I've talked long enough in this, so I think I've made my point. Who wants to follow up on this one?
I can follow up a little bit. I definitely agree that the drumbeat is important. The consistent storyline, if we keep hearing the same thing. That
Ryan, especially if it's from more than one, I would say there's the media, there's the coaching staff, and even the teammates. You can't just discount what the teammates say either. So the drumbeat's particularly important if it's coming from more than one location, I would say, Ryan.
Yeah. But in terms of stuff that doesn't matter that I want to make sure we talk about, I think I have two huge pet peeves every single year. And the first one is it's the first week of training camp and beat reporter X releases their projected depth chart or what they think it's going to look like between a rookie running back and a veteran. I project this rookie running back to be the second stringer, or he's working with the third stringers in the first week of training camp. And we freak out every time. And that almost never matters. Yes, of course, that at this moment in time, at the beginning of camp, the rookie is behind the veteran. That is what we should generally expect. And then the second one is usually preseason week one, every single team's social media or PR department will put out a quote unquote depth chart. And that's another one that people will very often overreact to, where it is almost always
social media
just
intern depth chart.
yes.
That's
Those you remember those? Like it feels like
the social media intern depth chart.
That like week on Twitter is always so fun because I just forget every single year that that's a thing that we do and that we pay attention to. But and anytime if you ever see that, just like don't even read it.
Ryan, that's such depth charts or media reports and like quotes. They're so much more important than depth charts. I would say depth charts, are for whatever reason almost worthless. Like I don't even know why they do them.
It's also for me, one of the things that I'm watching carefully is also like who is giving you the information, because as a now content creator and a long-term content consumer, I don't care about every rookie looking like he's in God tier mode. We did this like last year was a big example for me with the Patriots wide receivers. They all looked unreal in training camp. Every team wants to prop up their youngest players, their recent selections, the new toys in the building, if you would, and beat reporters just love to be all positivity. There's no objectivity. At least there's very little objectivity in it, because where's the fun in that? That's not where the clicks are going to go and drive it up. So getting to the root of why things are being said, very important. I tend to tie my beat writers' reports on players to coach speak. Like I almost, if there's no correlation there, I'm almost writing it off entirely.
I care about, I want to hear the good stuff on the rookies, not even because it like matters per se, but it's like a box to check. It's like if on the rare occasions that you hear nothing good about a rookie in camp, that's usually a flashing red light. So it's not like when I hear the good stuff, I'm like, okay, we're going to the moon. It's more just like, all right, we've like escaped the worst, on to the next. I definitely care a lot about specific notes on deployment. Like if there are coaches and or beat reporters talking about we want to use this guy in the slot more, or we want to use this guy outside, or things like that. That's stuff that I care about. Specific things with running back usage. Oh, we're using this running back on third downs and pass protection situations, or we're using this running back at the goal line. That's the kind of stuff that I care about.
I'll challenge you on the running back one, Jacob, because every season we get.
Okay, I don't care about running backs being used as a wide receiver. That I don't care.
That goes without saying.
That goes without saying. That is not a real thing. Yeah. When we hear about running backs being split out wide, I don't care about that at all. I do care about specifically situational usage. This guy's being used in the 2-minute drill, for instance. That's stuff that I care about. Things I don't care about: beat reporters being fantasy projectors.
Never works.
Whenever you get beat reporters being like, yeah, I'm expecting, this running back to get about 20 touches and this running back to get about 15, but
it's
also
never fewer than 20.
35 passes. And it's like, yeah. And then you realize, oh, I didn't know that this team is going to run 110 offensive plays per game this year. So oftentimes you'll get these. Remember, it was the Bijan Algier last year where it was like, yeah, they're going to have 25 touches for Bijan, but also 15 to 20 for Algier. And it's like, well, obviously not. But
Falcons are reinventing space time.
Yeah. So I think usually what happens is that they probably are reasonably reporting the amount of touches for the lead guy, and then often just creating a lot of fake touches for the second guy. And then like Ryan said, I don't really care that much about the snapshot in time stuff as it pertains to rookies, and only as it pertains to rookies. If a non-rookie that we expect to start is running with the second team, I care a lot. If a rookie is running with the second team, I don't really care. Unless the report is like, he's running with the second team and looks like shit. Then I care. But if it's just like, he looks great, unfortunately, through July 15th, he's been confined to the second team. I'm like, well, that's such his life. That's about all I got.
Well, Jacob, just to put a bow on kind of what we were saying about the box to check, that's a great way to look at it. Like, yeah, because the second you get a positive report, obviously you don't go and adjust the ranks. But it is one of many things you should be looking for. And then I would say the absence of positive reports I remember last summer trying to find literally anything on Roman Wilson, and there was just like nothing at all. Like literally, I seriously couldn't find like anything on Roman Wilson. I'm like, that doesn't seem good. Like I would have liked them to have mentioned Roman Wilson at some point, and they never did. And then was he ever active?
I'm not
so
sure.
it just
I don't think
that
All
so.
I
is
remember about
something
him
to look
was Mike
for.
Tomlin saying he's jumping onto a moving train in like week 5, and I don't think he ever got on the train. Or maybe he's like Tom Cruise, just like hanging on to the edge of the train. Like, someone stop the train. It's just buffeting.
Oh my
The
god.
Alberta steamer.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Jack Bech Dynasty Dave asked, what about Jack Bech? Are you concerned or not? At this point, this is a definite nah for me. Like it's not like I've seen anything in which they were like Jack Bech looks bad or whatever. I've seen like a beat reporter speculate seemingly of his own accord that his skill set is too duplicative with Myers and Bowers. And then I have seen the note about Thornton mixing in on some more first team reps. The first thing I don't care about at all, the beat reporters don't make decisions. I don't care about their opinions. I care a little bit about the Thornton stuff, and I'll care a lot about the Thornton stuff if that's the same report we're getting in like 2 weeks. I don't really care about it in terms of mini camp.
I think that's fair too. There's also, in my opinion, the quality of beat reporting is just kind of not there. Like we've been complaining about it.
It's never been there. It's actually better than it used to be. If you can believe
really,
that. Yes.
I find that hard to believe.
In the past, they never even because they didn't play fantasy or understand fantasy, so their projections had like truly no relation to reality. They would say something like he's gonna get 30 carries a game, like without knowing that doesn't really ever happen. It actually has gotten better, if you can believe it.
Okay, because there are a couple teams that are repeat effect, like San Francisco. I swear the team pays their beat writers to say nothing. Miami, I find
they're
it very
useless.
hard to get.
Remember when Brandon Ayuk was just a backup in week 1, and then all the beat reporters came out after the game and they were like, "I knew this would happen," and it was like, "You didn't say anything, Matt Mayoko. Shut the fuck up."
Yeah, that's part of it too. And the Dolphins, I find it really hard. The Ravens are just notoriously difficult to get reports out of. Period.
I gotta add the Jets to this too. I feel like I've learned that every player on their depth chart is going to be their wide receiver 2 over the last 2 years. It's
right.
just, they like copy and paste the same article.
So it is. I
Except
find
for Malachi Corley, they've never once reported Malachi Corley.
Hey, the Jets social media team, though, they really tried to hype him up, showing him trying to catch a screen pass as he almost dropped it, and then they never released. That intern was likely fired, but they never ever posted anything else about Malachi Corley again.
He is an example, though, of like where you do listen to bad reporting on rookies. Like I understand the social media interns might not have gotten the memo, but if you were just reading like the daily athletic blurbs from August of last year, they were like, yeah, Malachi Corley's got a long way to go, but he's young and dynamic. And like never were they ever like Malachi Corley made a play today.
So yeah, Jacob, I'm trying to bring it full circle again. If it's daily positive reports, it might not mean anything. If it's daily negative reports, it usually does mean something.
Yeah.
Exactly. 100%. 100%.
All right. Anything left on this, or are we playing some games?
So
I think
something that's been bugging me so much, specifically about this offseason, is the number of tweets that I'm seeing where people are charting quarterbacks' completion percentage in 7-on-7s. It is driving me insane. Like, I get that the Cleveland Browns have a very ambiguous, non-enviable quarterback situation right now. Completely understand. But are we seriously to the point that we're charting and caring about the completion percentage whenever one quarterback's going up against first string and another one's going up against fourth string, and surprise, surprise, the quarterback with the fourth string players is doing better? Like, I don't know. It's similar with JJ McCarthy and him saying touchdown records in training camp, and what are we supposed to be doing with this?
Yeah, I mean, with the Browns, we're not just charting it; we're victory lapping off of it as well.
Yeah.
It's that
you know what? Like, I think anything that the Browns want to do to try and drive up support for their team, like, you got to try what you got to try, right? I mean, they had one good vibe season 2 years ago with Joe Flacco. They jettisoned him to soothe the ego of their serial sexual abusing guaranteed contract quarterback, who then was like the worst quarterback we've ever seen, tore his Achilles in borderline merciful fashion. They then had the number 2 overall pick in a year with no second good quarterback, traded away one of the most fun prospects in NFL draft history, in which one of the major parts of the return was a running back who's already committed domestic violence. So, like, if you want to chart Kenny Pickett's completion percentage and that brings you joy, I say find joy wherever you can, Cleveland Browns.
Well, on that note, Jesus, that is such a grim way. Yeah, that is a grim way to put that.
Thanks.
Man. Yeah, not great for Cleveland. My Lord. When we come back, we have one of our favorite games. Hasn't been seen in years, but that doesn't mean it's not absolutely goated. Sit tight. Jacob will explain how this is going to go when we come back on the other side of this break. Okay, Jacob, let's run it down for those who may not be in the know.
Once upon a time, the human mind reigned supreme. And so we played a game that was originated, and I think has only ever been played with RotoPat, called Beat or No Beat.
It is.
In which I read out a mix of beat reports, some of which were real, and some of which I wrote. And you all had to guess which ones were written by me.
You were too good.
And which ones were written by actual beat reporters. But today, the human mind has taken a backseat to other forces. And so we have modified the game to beat, no beat, or chat GP beat. So each of these beat reports will either be a real beat report by an actual team source, a beat report written by me today, or a beat report that I asked ChatGPT to write for me today. You have to decide which one of the three this will be.
Incredible.
These are a mix of beat reports that are in theory from this year, which may be real or fake, or from previous years, which also might be real or fake. This is not a very competitive game. This is more of a fun vibes-based game. So I'll allow you guys to share openly your thoughts process. The chat can play along and just get the competitive juices flowing before I think our first ever 5-component 5 for 5 showdown coming up. So here is beat report number 1. Okay. Last year, Marvin Harrison Jr. arrived in the desert carrying the weight of legacy, expectation, and the promise of reviving Arizona's dormant passing attack. In year 2, he's carrying something else, control. Now entrenched as the unquestioned wide receiver 1 for the Cardinals, Harrison has taken over training camp with the confidence of a 10-year vet and the production of a Pro Bowler in the making. He's no longer learning the ropes. He's setting the standard. He came back a different player, said head coach Jonathan Gannon. More vocal, more competitive, and even more precise. He's pushing guys around him to raise their level. In Tuesday's 2-minute simulation, Kyler Murray showed off his new connection with Harrison on 3 straight plays, including a sideline toe tap, a contested seam route, and a 25-yard strike between 2 defenders for the score. This was from this year's minicamp, of course.
Oof. Overly florid. So I'm going to say AI. The word simulation, I thought was a bit like, the 3 Glacier meme from Inglourious Bastards. Where like a human will not be saying simulation.
I see.
My guess is AI.
I think this is Jacob. I think this is Jacob deliberately throwing off the scent.
Simulation could be like a weird Canadian thing too. No offense. No offense.
To me, I feel like I have read enough of Jacob's writing that Jacob just doesn't really write in that way. Like I don't know. You're not that you're a little verbose. You're not like that verbose and quite like that.
That's Ryan completely carve up my writing.
You're not quite like that. This was meant to be more of a compliment. Like that blurb.
I love that he was about to be like, "You're not actually You are kind of verbose.
Have you not read his intros? They're like
Jacob is like an
2,000 words.
appropriate level. Jacob's an
That's fair,
appropriate level of
non-derogatory.
verbose. This is like beyond an appropriate level
All right.
of verbose. Like it's so dramatic, it like hits you in the face. So
The
I
chat,
think it has to be ChatGPT.
The chat believes that it is ChatGPT.
So,
They're
You know,
almost
an
unanimous.
issue with ChatGPT and just AI in general is it has a propensity to hallucinate sometimes when you don't give it a good enough prompt. And thinking Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be doing this in year 2 is absolutely a hallucination. Give me
Wow.
ChatGPT.
Anyone saying anything good at all about Marvin
All right.
Harrison Jr. sounds like ChatGPT.
All right. Tom had too much faith in my ability to trick you. The rest of you guys are correct. This is the ChatGPT beat report.
Thank God.
Okay.
We can still recognize AI. Thank God.
Yeah, for the moment. This is how this show is how we will annually track AI's takeover.
That's
of
a
the world.
good point.
1 year AI is going to fool you all, and that's when you know we're about to be in the singularity. When
Oh,
you're no
no.
longer able to recognize ChatGPT beat reports. All right. Next one.
All right.
New England Patriots wide receiver Stefon Diggs views this NFL season as a now or never situation. According to the 4-time Pro Bowler, there are no second chances if he fails this year. Stefon Diggs recently posted a video on his YouTube page that discussed his mindset ahead of training camp. He's coming off an ACL injury that he suffered with the Houston Texans last October and has taken fans on a journey of his arduous recovery process and rehabilitation. There was a time when Diggs was once viewed as one of the best receivers in the NFL, and he's determined to get back to that same level, entering his 11th NFL season. I was a 5th-round pick. I beat everybody out of a job, said Diggs. That's how I got my start. I got my opportunity, and I took advantage, and I got better each and every week. Now I'm going into a new situation, and I love that God gave me this opportunity. There are no second chances with this shit. You got to take advantage of the right now. The Patriots are hopeful he can get back to the level of productivity he showed prior to his injury when he had 6 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. If anyone can beat the odds, it would be the former 5th-round draft pick out of Maryland.
My guess is Jake, because Steph Diggs, his ego's way too big to ever think it's a now or never season. Like, yeah, I'm bad this year. I'll just be good next year. It's fine.
See,
Like, it's fine,
The
yeah.
chat is already divided. We have 1 vote for beat writer. We have 2 votes for me. We have a vote for ChatGPT beat. Another vote for me.
anyone romanticizing Stefon Diggs this hard has to know that it is Jacob, because he loves Stefon Diggs. And to go back and reference how many times he was a 1,000-yard receiver, that's Jacob all over it.
It seemed too well
All right, we got 2
organized
votes
to
for
be
me.
GPT, and it seemed too not real to be real. Because I don't think we're ever going to get that much humility from Steph Diggs at this stage of his career.
Right.
So
Where do you
I
guys
thought it
stand,
seemed
Ryan?
better
This
organized
is
than
like-
AI, but yeah, not real enough.
To me, it does hit on like a few things I would expect like a Patriots beat reporter to write. Like honestly, the 1,000-yard season thing kind of sounds like something a Pat's beat would say. Like anything about him being like determined sounds like something a Pat's beat would say. But I think it's to the level that I think it's Jacob trying to sound like a Pat's beat reporter. So I'm gonna go with Jacob.
So my biggest issue right now is with the use of the word arduous. And I've never once ever seen that in any sort of beat reporter blurb.
That's
what makes me think it's Jacob.
Yeah.
It's a lawyer.
But,
All right.
but people are different in New England, so I'm going to go with beat reporter.
All right. We got 3 votes for me. We got 1 vote for a beat writer. We got like almost an even split between me and beat writer in the chat, and 1 ChatGPT guess. Jordy McElroy, you are the newest writer at Thinking About Thinking. This is real. This was on Patriots Wire. It is 100% real. Jordy McElroy wrote this. Stefon Diggs did release a very funny YouTube video that was quoted extensively from this.
So you should. That's what I should have said. He would never give those kind of quotes. Now in a YouTube video, he'd say all kinds.
I
of
said
quotes.
I said it. It's in a recently released YouTube video.
I'm a human, so I'm not actually paying that close of attention.
Fair enough. All right. Lucas is the only one to keep his perfect record intact.
That's
through 2
insane.
questions.
Insane.
Maybe I'll change the. I said there were no stakes. I lied. Whoever wins this will start with 2 points in 5 for 5.
Oh, come on.
Unless Tom wins, then he'll start at -2 points. But Tom
You see what I'm
is
doing?
currently in last, so I don't have to worry about it too much. All right, that's 2 down. The next one here. All right. We have a slightly shorter one this time. Okay. For once, Terrel Owens had nothing to say. The disgruntled wide receiver showed up at Philadelphia Eagles training camp on Monday night, but declined to speak to reporters who chronicled his every move. Owens ended speculation whether he would beat a Monday deadline to report to camp when he sauntered into the Eagles facility an hour before a 7 p.m. team meeting wearing a camouflage shirt and cap. That would be from 2005 when he was famously working out in driveways and engaged in other sort of tomfoolery related to his contract status.
So not only is that too verbose to be Jacob or to be anybody real, I don't think anybody was that verbose in 2005.
Well, no,
So
I'm going to give a counterpoint to that, where that was back when like the media guys were much higher paid. They were much more entrenched in the job. Their egos were huge. They like viewed themselves as like as important as the players sometimes. And at the risk of failing a Turing test, I'm going to say that one was real and that was an actual reporter. Because like especially in a town like Philadelphia, it was probably some guy who was like the highest paid guy at the paper. He had no idea the paper was like going to do like massive layoffs in 2 years, but he was still riding high. That was like the end of the riding high media star era. And I'm going to guess real.
I'm
all right. So far we have a real. Ryan, what was your guess? Were you saying ChatGPT?
Yeah, it's making. Yeah, I was gonna say ChatGPT, but now Pat's making me question it because I had this perception of like, oh, people in 2005 probably couldn't write for shit. Like they probably didn't know how.
They actually spent time working on the writing back then. Yeah.
I see. So yeah, now I'm unsure. Now I'm thinking about it a little bit.
Right.
You go to the others
Lucas,
while I mull this over.
What are your thoughts?
I'm trusting Pat here. He 2005. I don't even know if I knew how to read yet. I'll be honest.
We're once again split in the comments. I'm seeing all three guesses in the comments. We have anti-misanthrope is saying ChatGPT. Dave thinks it's real. Mental dichotomy thinks it's me.
I'm gonna trust Pat and go real.
Just because I think that this is such a fun thing that Jacob would want to look back and find something to write up on because of how ridiculous this all sounds. So I'm going with Jacob here.
I'm
You're
going
saying
with not
me,
AI.
the others,
For sure.
Okay, so you're saying it's me. The other three are all saying real? Is that
I'm
what I
saying
mean?
real, but I'm also saying
say
not
real.
AI is what I'm saying.
All right. Lucas, your lead is no more. This is real. Truly, just like the warmth in my heart when I found a beat report that started with, for once, Terrell Owens has nothing to say, as though he was.
I knew instantly it was real. That's how they all wrote back then. They all
to
thought
start
they
your
were
column that way, as though you were about to write "Catcher in the Rye,"
Yes.
like for your August beat report for the Philadelphia Eagles, is incredible work.
I think it's honestly it's sad that I've only come up in
the Associated Press. So I wish I could give credit to like a specific Eagles beat reporter, but it's been 20 years.
Now I'm like sad for myself that I've only come up in like the internet age and didn't get to read that like in the newspaper.
I'm not even
column
kidding.
every
That
morning.
flashed me back to like reading the paper. I'm 38 years old. I started reading the paper at a very young age, and like
All right.
that was how all newspaper columns used to sound.
That's insane.
We do have another old beat report about a commonly disgruntled wide receiver. All right. This one comes out of 2011. Chad Ochocinco is all business.
Oh, God.
That does not mean there are no smiles to be found at one Patriot place. And perhaps no man grinned wider than the Patriots' offseason addition, Chad Ochocinco, formerly Johnson. The potential Hall of Fame receiver is looking to start fresh and compete for a Super Bowl after his 10-year career in Cincinnati ended when he was traded to the Patriots for 2 mid-round draft picks this offseason. He warned his doubters not to write him off. People forget what they said about Randy 3 years ago, he mentioned, referring to Randy Moss, who had his breakout season in 2007 with the Patriots. They said he was washed up or couldn't play no more. Now they say that about me. Nah, I just needed a chance to show what I can do in the right environment with people who believe in me. Despite no longer wearing them on his helmet, Johnson will have to earn his stripes each day in Foxborough if he wants to resuscitate his career a la Randy Moss. but he's impressed thus far, not only between the whistles, but in being a mentor and model citizen to the Patriots' younger weapons.
I'm saying Jacob only because I think he was cackling when he wrote the stripes line there. He was cackling after writing that, so proud of himself. So I'm locking in Jacob.
I'll lock it down. I think he was cooked out of his mind at like 2 a.m. and he thought about that and he went banger as he wrote it down in his apartment.
I'm saying Jacob, we haven't had a Jacob yet, right? So I'm kind of going by the law of averages.
Good guess. I continue to be unable to stymie you. That was me, and I can tell you that when I wrote the stripes line, I was loving myself. Yeah. I wrote that stripes line, and I was like, I could be a beat reporter. And what a better calling than being a beat reporter for the New England Patriots. That's right. All right. We have, going into the final one, a three-way tie now between Lucas, Ryan, and Pat. Tom is just one behind. All right. Under a blazing Georgia sun. Oh, sorry. This is also from 2025 minicamp.
Okay.
Under a blazing Georgia sun and the buzz of preseason hype, Kyle Pitts is finally looking like that Kyle Pitts again.
No,
after
this is
two
fake.
injury-riddled seasons and
All right, never mind.
Fourth-year tight end is stringing together a dominant start to training camp. Pitts is playing on his fifth-year option, and while neither side has publicly discussed an extension, Pitts' agent was seen at camp earlier this week, fueling speculation that talks may be underway. I'm just focused on football, Pitts said when asked. I've always said you can control what you can control, but it's no secret. A healthy, productive bounce-back season could put Pitts in line for a high tight end deal, especially with the salary cap projected to jump next year.
I'm a little scared that it could be a Jacob ruse and that it's him. That would be a lot of cliches. Cap. Even for a foot beat writer, that'd be a lot of cliches. So there's me leaning towards AI.
Like a 2025 beat writer, it's not the 2005 goats.
A huge
writing
red
for
flag.
once Terrel Owens had nothing to say.
A huge red flag is that there are no Falcons beat reporters. The Falcons are just not covered. No one covers the Falcons. There's a constant complaint we have at Rotoworld. It's like, is there anyone that ever writes about the Falcons? And there's like 2 or 3. They never write. They never publish anything. They never had practice. I'm gonna lean to chat beat PT or whatever. That's my guess. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
So this one, if this were real, this absolutely would have made the rounds, and I absolutely would have read it before. Because Twitter would have memed the shit out of this for like a week. So I know it's not real, but it's how well is Jacob writing this like cackling, or is Jacob
that is a fear of
mine. As ChatGPT writes this and Jacob's cackling is what I have to figure
it's
out.
Either the chat is hallucinating or it's Jacob in the zone.
I'll say it's this is almost something, if it weren't for Ryan mentioning, he definitely would have seen this. Like, this is something that I would expect from like the Locked On network to like cycle nothing but positive reps
in very 80s sports.
To like save their first round picks outlook. But I'm gonna go. This is Jacob's doing, mourning over lost draft picks that he spent on Kyle Pitts.
See, I don't think Jacob could bring himself to write something positive about Kyle Pitts. So I'm thinking this is another hallucination by ChatGPT. The ship has sailed. We have sunk our costs. We're going to go cry in the corner a little bit. No.
Okay, and I'll tell you. Wait, I got to give my guess. My guess is ChatGPT, and it's because in the first sentence there was like a very I don't know if it was a mixed metaphor, but like the sun and the buzz of preseason hype, it was too much of like an AI-ism where it was
like a little uncanny. Yeah, it was a little uncanny.
So I'll go ChatGPT.
All right. So if Tom is right, Tom's on an island here. So if Tom's right, that means everybody's tied, which means everybody starts at the same mark. If Tom is wrong, that means all the rest of you start with an extra little 2-point edge. And I can tell you that all of the rest of you will start with a 2-point edge. This is Chat GPT. Congratulations. It's a slightly edited Chat GPT and that there's like a middle paragraph where they talked about how we could get back on a Hall of Fame trajectory. So I jumped straight from the beginning paragraph to the end paragraph. So it's ChatGPT with some slight edits to keep it believable.
It hallucinated so much you had to edit it. I'm actually feeling a little more optimistic about the future that we can recognize the AI.
There was also like several ones where I tried to get ChatGPT to write something and it just kept making so many mistakes that I had to abandon it for new players. Like there was one where it was like, I tried to get it to do a Roma Dunze clip, and they like kept giving me like quotes from Matt Eberflus about how he looks much better in his second season. And I was like, that might be true, but Matt
that says it all right there.
And then they named one of the Bears beat reporters as like their wide receivers coach, and it was just like it was very incorrect.
That's oh man, you should share that after the show.
Yeah, it was very bad. All right,
phenomenal.
So everybody starts at 2. Tom starts at 0. Chat, you guys have been great sports. We started around early. You guys also started at 2. Congrats, chat.
So my question is,
Tom's behind the 8 ball.
How many weeks? We have 7 weeks left, right? Of 5 for 5.
You're on
literally none. We'll go over that. And podcast listeners, because today's episode is about 2 hours shorter than normal, you guys will also be privy to 5 for 5. Usually, Pat, this is a YouTube thing only because we like to give people a reason to come on over. Podcast listeners, you too will get the glory of 5 for 5. We'll catch you up on what happened last week. If you missed it, sit tight. You're not going to want to go anywhere. It's 5 for 5. Okay, last week I hosted 5 for 5, and when I tell you I am the first 5 for 5 host to actually stump everyone in one question, I will say, Pat, I got diabolical. We led off with some Lorenzo Neal questions. We got an Eddie George was in there. It was Madden Legends. It was a phenomenal show. Jacob won it on a walk-off.
Wow.
First question guesses Eddie George for the win, but we decided it would be a little unfair if Lucas just gets to cop a full point.
When did we decide that? I thought Lucas was getting a point.
I did because I was the host, so I made the rule.
Lucas, I played in your honor.
The graphic is updated. The Gremlins, that is the chat, they are currently sitting tight with 2 wins. The Crash Out King, Ryan Heath, as sitting at 2 wins. The Lovable Loser, our own AJ Hawk, at 2.5 wins with last week.
Do I get the other 0.5? Why is my win only worth 0.5? It doesn't have
because it was in lieu of somebody else. So I made an executive decision. Either way. I can't.
My win doesn't have object permanence.
No, it does not. It's because I didn't get it. You know what it is, Jacob? Is because I worked so hard to find a clue that had something to do with the theater with Eddie George and his time on Broadway, and you didn't let me get there. So half a point is that. But I sit as the winner.
People get a taste of power for 1 week at a time, and it really goes to their head.
Well, I warned you.
Not everybody can be as benevolent of a dictator as me.
Just remember, you've given the man, you've given me power on the show to press all the buttons and make all the decisions. When you let me run multiple things on one program, you know what you're going to get. All right. Ego.
Well,
thank you,
let's
Jacob. I'm very honored.
We have our benevolent dictator back in the chair, running 5 for 5 as it was meant to be. And I will say, Tyrant Tom had one very good rule change last week, which was that I'm no longer going to tip you guys off when the chat gets it to prompt you to guess. What's going to happen is if I should explain just the whole rules, I guess, for Pat's benefit. So there's going to be 5 questions. Each of these 5 is going to be an NFL player. They could be current or former. I will read up to 5 clues about who this NFL player is.
Jackie Bech.
Each clue descends in the amount of possible points. If you get it on the first clue, that's 5 points, then 4, 3, 2, 1. The last round is double points. Normally, our rule is if the chat gets it, any tie goes to the players. and the timing's on the same round. So even if the chat guesses it first in real time, if one of the players gets it on the same round, they get the points. I'm instituting a new rule where normally I let you know when the chat has got it. I'm not going to do that anymore. If you guys pass, it just goes to the chat without any sort of warning. If you do pass on a clue, that means you will get to guess before anyone else of the players who guessed the previous round on the next clue. So you can preserve your right to go first. Chat, same rules as usual. You guys get 3 guesses per clue in total, 1 guess per person. But I'm going to give you guys a bit of the advantage of they don't get to wait and see what you've done. Tom, please take the overlay away from our screen here, so the chat.
That's right. We minimize the chat. We minimize the chat. I did run into one.
I was planning to cheat by looking at the chat.
I was thinking about this rule. The only thing that makes it tough with not knowing if you have to guess in that round is when like you're sitting on a guess and it can end up costing you starting the next round. My suggestion.
That's the point.
So when I came up with the rule last week, I thought about it. It was really dope. My suggestion is let us, and we can toy with it in later weeks. We won't do it now, but I'll tell you
that's specifically my point. I want you guys to be gambling. If you think the chat doesn't have it yet, you can pass and keep your place in line. But if you want to pass and play that game, you risk the chat coming in and taking your lunch.
Yeah, imagine being good enough at this game to actually have guesses to sit on instead of just saying whatever.
I just feel nothing but fear right now, to be honest.
All right. This week's theme, it's not a very creative theme. This week's theme is sounds like. So the first clue in each of these is going to be a name that sounds like something else. It might be a geographical location. It might be a song. It might be a movie. It might be an actor. It might be something else. But their name is going to sound like that.
Jacob's trying really hard to give me a chance in this one.
All right. I also now realized that I didn't have my page pulled up, but I'm going to fix that. Oh, this is why I didn't have my page pulled up, because I made it on iPhone notes on the train ride home from work. But now I have it. All right.
Nice stall.
First player. This player's last name rhymes with a popular millennial anthem.
Oh no.
Millennial anthem.
What are popular millennial anthems? Do we have any ideas,
down
guys?
For what? Call me maybe.
I assume it's got to be
Battle Hymn of the Republic.
It's got to be like one word or like enough to be short enough for a name.
Shots by Lil Jon is another one.
It's got to be some sort of like Creed Nickelback scenario.
So when we were young,
we gotta think of Jacob's music taste. Yeah, when Jacob says millennial anthem, Jacob means
like when
anthem.
I say millennial anthem, I mean an anthem. Like I'm not doing clap your hands, say yeah. Like
okay,
it's a real song.
You're not doing some Loud Thunder by Clap Your Hands, say yeah.
Yeah, we're not doing the skin.
When you say millennial, I feel like
it's my personal millennial anthem.
My age grouping here, so
yeah, Tom, you're locked in here. This is right in your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna give a 3, 2, 1. Nothing from the players. I can also confirm there's nothing from the chat. So we're going to number 2. All right. This player shares a portion of his name with. Sorry, I'm going to rephrase this clue, but it's the same clue. This player may have disappointed, but certainly his team was not as disappointed as the Miami Heat were when they gave $98 million to a player who shares a portion of this person's name.
I know the Heat player immediately, I think.
I'll state that clue again because it was jumbled. This player was a disappointment, but surely his team was not as disappointed as the Miami Heat were when they awarded this player who shares his name $98 million.
I can name like 4 Miami Heat players ever. So
Can I say Heat players out loud, or does that defeat the purpose?
I mean, you can, but if you certainly are allowed to say whatever you want. But if you happen to give the Heat player without getting the NFL player, all you're going to do is help your competitors.
I almost want to help them at this point.
You can, and nothing is stopping you from helping them. But yeah, we're gonna need guesses in the next 5 to 10 seconds. We're gonna move on to clue number 3.
yeah, not doing basketball.
Can we get when this Heat player was signed, or is that?
I thought it
too
was
much?
Mike Miller or Kevin Love, but I don't actually know. If
Well,
either
I
one
think
of those
98
now.
million should give you an idea that it wasn't in the 1980s.
Yeah.
I know the Mike Miller
Yeah.
deal was bad, but I'm screwed.
All right, we're going on to
I'm
clue
gonna
number
wait.
3.
I have a guess.
We're going on to
but
clue
I'm gonna
number
wait.
3. All right. Everybody knows that RotoPat is a big fan of the St. Louis Cardinals. This player also played for a team named the Cardinal.
Man, we should be like getting.
Is it Toby Gerhart?
Is not.
This player also played for the Arizona Cardinals.
No, I did not say the Arizona Cardinals. I said he played for a team named Cardinal.
Louisville. Cardinal or
Louisville.
Cardinals?
I'll leave that for you to decide.
What? What team is? Is there a team called the Cardinal?
There is the Stanford Cardinal.
Oh, okay.
RotoPat, this is when you keep that to yourself, right?
Yeah, you shouldn't have told. You shouldn't have given me that one.
Sorry.
I'm just like playing on Pat's sympathies here. He feels like he has to help
It has
me out.
to go
but you gotta
question 4.
ignore me.
It has to go question 4.
All right. Anybody got a guess? 5, 4,
Andrew
3,
Luck.
2, 1. 3 points to Chat gets it. It is JJ Arcega-Whiteside.
Oh my
Whiteside
God.
rhymes with Mr. Brightside.
That is the ultimate
Oh.
millennial
Right.
anthem. Yeah.
And Hassan Whiteside, of course, was one of the worst signings in NBA history for the Miami.
Wow.
That was good. That was
Mike
a good
Miller
one,
did
JJ.
Shout
like
out to do a
98
little-
million. I should have known that.
Chad had to do a little alley-oop there. They figured out Hassan Whiteside on the second clue. They could not put together JJ Arcega-Whiteside, although Theo the Greek came in with that one on
Damn.
clue number 3.
Damn.
I can't believe I freaking wasted Toby Gerhart there. Oh,
All right.
Damn, that's crazy.
So,
I had
chat.
nothing.
That's 5 points. We got Lucas, Ryan, and Pat all with 2 points. We got Tom sitting on 0 points. Okay.
This is blasphemy.
This player, a portion of this player's name rhymes with a former United States president.
Portion of this.
Portion.
When I say portion,
Come on,
I mean
man.
his first name or his last name.
Jalen Rager.
You know what? Fuck it. I'll just say his last name. And Lucas, I won't count that guess. His last name rhymes with the last name of a former U.S. president.
Last
Okay.
name rhymes with the last name.
Presidents that Jacob would pick. Let's see.
Well, I've picked several presidents. I don't think that narrows.
Joe
it down.
Mixon.
T.Y. Hilton.
Okay, Joe Mixon is incorrect.
All right.
T.Y. Hilton.
That is incorrect.
You said rhyme, not share, or rhyme or share?
Rhymes with.
Okay.
So Joe Mixon, good guess.
I was gonna say Jalen Polk, but I think that was a previous.
That doesn't
president
share.
question.
That has been a previous presidential clue on this here program.
Jalen James K.
Stephon Gilmore.
Incorrect.
That's a good
Ryan,
one.
you got
Tom.
anything? Are we going?
Well, I'll pass. I'll pass.
All right. Chat did not get it, but the chat. I won't give you points for this, but the guest Blyrone Washington is the funniest name I've seen in a while. All right. This player shares a first name with an actor who played Gilderoy Lockhart as well as Hamlet.
Oh God, I should know this. Don't know the guy's name.
Shares a first name and then rhymes. Also played Hamlet.
Shares a first name with the actor who played Gilderoy Lockhart and Hamlet. and his last name rhymes with a former American president.
I think I know it.
What happens if I guess?
Feel free to guess. Oh, if you get,
Well,
if you
Ryan
guess,
doesn't Ryan get it first?
Yeah, no, I won't hold
Ryan
you
gets
guys
it
hostage on this one. You guys can
Okay,
guess.
Ryan's
stumped.
passing his order. So you're if you guess and get it wrong, then if someone else gets it right, they get the points. If not, you will still be.
I think I'll pass. My guess is not very good.
Okay.
Well, wait. I think I know it actually, but I think
All right,
Thomas
let's
knows
hear
it
it.
more. No, because I can't think of what the last name rhymes with. To be honest,
Is it Kenneth Gainwell?
It is not Kenneth Gainwell.
I was gonna say Kenneth Walker.
It is not Kenneth Walker. Anyone give it a shot here?
I'm starting to think Kenneth is involved.
Yeah,
Is it Kenneth Branagh? Can you just tell us?
Actor's name.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that, but I'm going to give Ryan and Lucas 5 more seconds to come up with a guess.
So the first one, it rhymes with the president's last name.
Kenneth
And
Dixon.
then- okay.
That's correct. Kenneth
No.
Dixon. Pat got the right president.
I got the right.
then you
Yeah,
guys
I got
both
Kenneth
the right
and
actor.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Is
will
there-
say that the chat did get it on the same clue, but Ryan got it just in time.
Let's go.
John Johnson got.
Is-
Actually, they wouldn't have got it anyways because he had previously guessed Kenneth Walker. His second guess was Kenneth Dixon, so it would have carried over the next clue.
Kenneth
but yeah.
Dixon, what a pull.
That
I
is a
miss
pull,
him.
Ryan got
Is
it.
Gainwell even close? I don't know U.S. presidents, but
I don't think there's a president
I
close to
couldn't
Gainwell,
think
but
of
you
a
got the
Gainwell.
right. You got the right actor. Yeah.
I was like, surely something
Wow.
rhymes with Walker, and I'm just not pulling it right now.
I'm getting cooked here.
Yeah,
All
that
right.
was the last NFL Kenneth that I could possibly think of. So, and I was like, oh, it fits. Yeah, that's perfect. So, thanks for the assist, guys.
All right. 6 points for E. 5 points for the chat. 2 for Pat and Lucas. Tom is bringing up the rear at 0. All right.
This is what happens when you get lazy when you already know you've won the pennant months away from baseball
my
season
God.
ending.
All right. This player's last name rhymes with the star of a movie that features the line, "I'm not the guy you kill, I'm the guy you buy."
No clue.
I know the line.
This sounds like theme has shown me that I was so sheltered as a child.
I'll read. So there's a movie with a line, "I'm not the kill," or "I'm not the guy you kill, I'm the guy you buy." The player I'm thinking of, his last name rhymes with the last name of the star of that movie.
Jadeveon Clowney.
That is incorrect.
He was thinking Robert Downey Jr. He's thinking U.S. Marshals. No, it's not from that.
Thanks, Pat.
That was incredible stuff. It just what he's thinking.
That was a good
It's
guess,
not
but
that.
thanks.
All right. Anyone got a guess? 5,
No,
4, 3,
I know the movie.
2, 1. 5 points to the chat. It is indeed Darnell Mooney, rhymes with George Clooney, who is the star of Michael Clayton.
Michael Clayton. God damn it.
Yes. Also, very
Brutal.
one person in the chat got the clue slightly wrong. They said Mark Clayton, which is like a funny way of being right. While not quite getting that's like the Chat GPT answer to that
The
question.
classic Michael Clayton. Yeah,
Like slightly misinterpreting.
it's a little uncanny.
I feel like I'm just off. Like I'm.
All right, this is a big lead for the chat now. The chat has opened up to 10 points. Keith at 6, Lucas and Pat at 2, Tom at 0. But remember, the last question is double points, and when necessary, the last question has been known to be triple. So, all right. This player's last name sounds like a popular Las Vegas hotel.
My being a lame 20-something is really coming back to bite me here that I don't know the names of Las Vegas hotels.
I keep thinking. I'm just gonna give everyone. I keep thinking the Sands for some reason. Is that even a Vegas hotel?
There's only one player that I can
All right.
think of.
Let's hear it, Tom.
and it just so happened to be featured in another George Clooney movie, The Balaj. So I'll go Kalen Balaj.
That is right for 5 points. Kalen Balaj.
It is the Balaj.
I can also say that Herms got that within about 0.1 seconds. It was,
Damn it.
As the former
it was the
biggest
fastest
Kalen
pass
Balaj
ever.
guy on this podcast a few years ago, same with Jared Dokes. I was all about the Miami
man.
backfield at one time.
I haven't heard the Dokes poll in quite a while.
All right, Tom gets
That's why
right
I have
back in
11
the
wins
game
in this
here.
game, Pat. That's why I have 11 wins.
Tom gets right back in the game with the Kalen Bellagio. So he gets to 5 points. Ryan Heath is also 5 points. The chat is at 10.
I
Lucas
was
and
at
Pat are
6.
2.
Hang on. You just
You're at 6?
subtracted a point from me, sir.
You're at 6?
Yes.
Sure
I had 2 and then I had 4.
Oh, that's
you
true.
said 6.
Okay. All
We
right.
You don't
won
have
the
to say how
tapes.
many
You
I
said
have.
6
You don't
on
have
the
to say how
last
many
one.
I have, by the way.
You have 6. All right. The good news is that everybody can get this to a tiebreaker round by guessing it in either of the first 2 clues. So everybody's in the game here. We don't need to do triple points. All right. This player has a first name that sounds like, or sorry, 1 second. I want to make sure I have the right term. Here we
Pulling out
go.
the dictionary for
This
this one.
player's first name is a homonym with a city. That city was called Lutetia, which was founded in the 3rd century BCE until Caesar discovered it and gave it its current name in the 1st century.
Can you
I'll
read the
reread
clue
the
one
clue.
more time? Yeah.
This player's first name is a homonym with a city. The city was first called Lutetia and founded in the 3rd century BC until Julius Caesar founded it with a different name in the 1st century. And by founded, I guess I mean colonized and probably hurt people.
That's more accurate.
The second one obviously would be the 1st century AD.
Oh my gosh.
I know the Romans called London Londinium. It's nothing to do with this. I'm just trying to think back.
I wasn't watching my mythology as much.
All right.
You said it. You said it was originally
Is it
founded
first?
in the 3rd century BCE. That's what you said.
Well, under this name, I mean, I'm sure there were people living there before, but yeah,
Is
Okay.
it first or last name?
the first name.
It's
Okay.
a hominin.
Yeah, for anyone curious, the chat also asked. Homonym means each of 2 or more words having the same spelling or pronunciation but different meanings.
That's what I thought. I was praying I knew what a hominin was.
Yeah.
I was
All right.
operating under that assumption.
I will give you guys another. I'll give you a 5, 4, 3, 2,
Alexander
1,
Madison?
Paris Campbell.
0.
Oh, shit.
We need to go to like a photo finish on whether I said 0 before Paris
Yeah,
Campbell came
shit.
in.
It was so obviously that. Yeah.
It is. That is the correct answer. Lucas, Ryan, Pat, there's a challenge flag on the field. Did he see it?
No,
he
if you
man.
pull it, if you get that
I
good
feel
of a
like-
pull,
Indianapolis Colts legend. Got to
So
play
I
Jacob
feel-
in
Chat,
the
the
game.
chat
Right
definitely
there.
got it for reference. So it's very much whether he says that before I said 0.
he said
it's
it.
Tom. If
You
not,
got to
it's
give
the
it to
chat.
him.
What do we say?
I
We gotta vote
thought
for
I
his
thought he
credit?
said it, but
We thought
You
he
got to
got
give
it
it
in.
to him.
The order I heard there was Alexander Madison, and I was like, "Oh, Alexandra is the city I was thinking of too." Oh, damn!
I was thinking of
and then I heard,
Alexandria for some reason, even though it's
Yeah.
way older than that. Yeah.
and then I heard 0. That's why I was asking about the 3rd BCE. I'm like, I'm pretty sure Egypt's older than that. But
Well,
then I heard
it's way
0.
older
Then I
than
heard
that,
Paris
but
Campbell. But also,
was-
we can't really take that away from Tom either way.
Jacob was giving
All
us so
right.
many conflicting, like
All right,
maybe.
I'm
like,
hearing Tom. I'm hearing Tom. It's a photo finish. If the chat
So-
wants to send me the Zapruder film of
He
the
got it.
0 coming in first, they're more than welcome to. But the answer was Paris Campbell.
Look,
Campbell.
At the end of the day, again, I just want to thank my agent. I want to thank my family for leaving me alone way too much for me to just play Madden or whatever. And I want to thank Jacob for making his answer so obviously Colts-pilled that it, at the end of the day, gives me something to fall back on. You got to remember, Chad, you're not playing the game. You're playing Jacob. And really, this just solidified the bye week for me moving forward. We can rest the starters as I have 12 wins now with only 6 weeks left. You guys can't catch me. I've won this bit. I have no life. I don't know if I should be proud of this or feel sad deep inside as I started behind with no bonus points and still ended up taking it.
Not a good look for the rest of us.
Not great. You guys are kind of throwing me off. I heard a lot. Usually, Pat, there's not this many back and forths.
Yeah, I like to guess.
With answers, so that like there's way more. So in my brain, it just.
I like Pat's approach. He brings in a lively.
I'm looking at chat. I have chat up now.
I'm also looking at chat talking shit about me. No way we lost to Heath, really, guys. You know, I go back and I read all these after, and I feel really bad when you're mean.
The chat
to
is
me,
also
right?
shit talking Julius Caesar.
Yeah,
I thought that might be going on.
Corey with the absolutely phenomenal profile picture said he's still talking. I do that when I win. You guys should win more if you want to talk more. You get the microphone when you win on the interview, so you guys should learn how to do that. With that being said, Pat, absolute blast having you back here in the new den here at fantasypoints.com to talk shop, training camp, media, and to play some ridiculous off-season trivia with us. There might be some people here that don't know where to catch all of your phenomenal content with you and the gang. Let them know what's up. We're all locked in, but these guys, they might be a little bit behind the 8 ball.
Few things here real quick. This shows the chat saying Caesar was a system dictator. System republic ruiner. And then also, sorry, I've been told the show normally goes much longer, and it is ending because of me. Right now. But not because I have to go to bed, by the way, because I go to bed very late. I have to help with some family obligations, but Rotoworld.com. Someone said NBC Sports Ed. We got rid of that a long time ago. We went back to Rotoworld.
Yeah, that's gone the way of Max.
Yes, it did. Listen, we admit it was a terrible idea. All right, it was bad. All right.
You know,
we apologize. We seek your forgiveness. That was bad. It was Rotoworld again. That's where I still am. We're doing online a free draft guide this year. Will be coming out soon. We're grinding really hard on that. We should have been grinding hard on that in May, but you know how writers are. We have a team preview series also on the free site. We're getting near the completion of. I have the New England Patriots going on tomorrow, actually. And, of course, the Rotoworld Football Show with Denny Carter, Kyle Dvorak, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah, it's truly phenomenal.
Thank you.
Incredible.
It's truly
Are you
my pleasure to be here.
Do you feel vindicated that you never renamed your Twitter account Edge Pat?
Yes, quite. Yes, so much. So, yeah, yes. So, by the way, I've never once stopped thinking RotoPat is corny. At Patrick Daugherty was too many characters; it did not fit. And but you know the RotoPat, I gave myself a nickname and it stuck.
Yeah, like when you made your Twitter account RotoPat, did you foresee that for the rest of your career people would refer to you in real life as RotoPat?
Genuinely, no, not at all. 2011, I was 24 years old. No, I never foresaw that at all. But, there are worse things.
Does your wife call you RotoPat?
I think maybe once or twice as a joke. But no, that's verboten. Yeah, she's no one in this house is allowed to say that.
None of your 17 children.
Yeah. Come on.
The chat wants to know if you'll be as dressed to impress with the same shirt on Thursday.
I will. It won't technically be the same shirt. It will be another polo with the same horsey on it. It'll be a different color though.
A nice blue for Thursday. Just seems like
we're gonna wear. Shouts to Ralph Lauren. We're gonna be wearing a different horsey polo on Thursday.
Hashtag not a sponsor, but could be. Holler at us. We'll talk business. That's right. With that being said, I want to thank everyone for obviously watching, liking, subscribing. Dynasty Points is just, we're doing things that we've never done before here month over month. And it never, I'm sure Ryan is tired of me DMing him about it every time the reports come in every month. And we couldn't do it. We couldn't be here without you guys. So as always, liking and subscribing goes a long way if you want to support us. Guys, I promise more Dynasty content and more content in general when I got here a couple of years ago, and it's on the way. And if you're a podcast degenerate like the rest of us, but don't know everything that's coming out, your news, your emails will now every week, like they did last week, have a podcast rundown of every podcast that came out. I believe it was 15 or 16 last week. In season, we'll have up to 18 podcasts a week. If you don't have time to catch up on all that to know what's going on, don't worry. I've got the newsletter covered. It goes out to you every single week now. Be on the lookout for that in your emails. Let us know what you think. Always get back to us. Remember that this game is supposed to be fun, and there's other people on the other side of the screens when you are talking all that ish. Remember to have fun. Check in your loved ones if you're not sure that they need it. Remember that clear eyes and full hearts can never lose. And your best days, well, Pat, as they say, it's always spent tilting. Good night, everybody.
What?
Why are you shaking your head? You're welcome.